If you remember, we were talking about domain and range the other day. Domain is the values that x can be, and the range is the values the y can be. The easiest way to answer those two questions are to figure out really what they can't be. You really got to look out for things in the denominator and square roots. Look at a couple examples. An easy one, 1 over x. We all know x can't be 0, so the domain is all real numbers except for 0. What about y? Well, y is determined by 1 over x. And 1 over x can't ever be 0, because you can't 1 over anything is always going to be something that's not 0. So in this case, our range is also all real numbers, not equal to 0. If you peek at the graph, you'll notice the graph never crosses the line y equals 0 or x equals 0. So our graph confirms what we did algebraically. Toss you an example from the worksheet. I think it was number 4. We got the square root of x minus 4 on top, x squared minus 1. Now, the stuff under the square root always has to be greater than 0. So set it greater or equal to 0 and solve. Stuff on the bottom can't equal 0, so it looks like x cannot equal plus or minus 1. Now when you consider both of them, x greater than or equal to 4 wins out. The range is a little tougher. I'll let you think about it, but I can promise you that it's always going to be positive. Let's look at a parabola. If you look at the graph of it, it's always up above 6. X can be anything you want. It's going to go to the right and left as much as you want, but y value is always going to be bigger than 6, so our range would be greater than or equal to 6. All real numbers greater than or equal to 6. One last example. We'll do one where I give you the values for the domain and range. Kind of looks familiar. Looks like the parabola we just did. X can be anything you want. Y has got to be bigger than 4 or equal to 4. So you could give me a parabola, or you could give me an absolute value graph. You could come up with something even fancier.